What has it been over the last 5 months that you've seen? Is this because since the last time we talked? I mean, obviously there's been so much that has happened around or in the industry, but over the last 5 months, you've drawn that out. Is it because of iTunes Radio? What is it about the last 5 months that has really excited you guys?
Yeah, well, I think there have been two big events that have really caused a series of cascading events downstream. So the first is, Pandora after their IPO,
Mm-hmm.
their numbers just keep building month upon month, and it's just no longer a fad. It is a phenomena, and it is just not going to go away. And no one in their right mind can look at their audience numbers and feel that there's anything other than a lot of growth ahead of them. So I think that's the one thing. There's a certified star in the space now, and that is Pandora in the U.S. And they're going to move throughout the world, I'm told, in the not too distant future.
Come to Canada, Pandora. My God.
Careful what you wish for; it just may happen. The second thing, of course, is Apple entering the market with iTunes Radio.
Yeah, and that had an impact?
Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
That had an impact, obviously.
Well, it is. It's not so much, from my perspective, had a business impact yet. It hasn't, completely shaken the snow globe of the advertising landscape, as an example. But their self-reported audience numbers certainly give one pause. And the fact that, my date book has been really filled with people on the advertising side, on the marketing side, on the traditional publisher side, wanting to have a sit down and really thoroughly understand what is going on in the space in earnest for the first time, because Apple does not go into most of the spaces it enters in a small way. They go in as a disruptor, and everyone who's in that space needs to understand what the space is all about and what their options are.
It's funny because that is so true. Is that does it take somebody, like we were talking about this last year, and you were saying, like, is it going to take? We mentioned this. Is it going to take an Apple to do this? And you said it might be an Xbox thing because it's already in everybody's living room. Obviously it takes a company like that, not an upstart, but somebody with an established base and an established huge base that enters this market for people to take it seriously. Why is that when all the other signs, like Pandora's growth, showcase that this is an industry that they should be focused on or aware of?
Well, I think if you're you take a traditional mindset, the incumbents seldom see the insurgents as being a real challenge to them until their head is on a pike. Do you know what I mean? If you look back through history, it's generally too late when you realize, oh, that gate could fall.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. When you have a titan of industry that says, I'm going to get in, and not in a toe in the water kind of a way, but in a very significant kind of a way, when we have the Tim Cooks of the world speaking about iTunes Radio as a strategic imperative at their developer conference, when they talk about having a vision and designs on the car automotive dashboard, people need to take account of that. And when you just simply do the math, even if you are doing math at a sixth grade level, when you look at iTunes penetration and handset penetration, not just in the US, but on a global basis, when you look at the relationships that Apple has built over time through iTunes with various record labels and how that could be leveraged and parlayed into an iTunes radio offering, it's not going to be here today and gone tomorrow. This is in it for the long haul, and the world has changed.
You think from Apple's perspective, do they see revenue opportunities here? Like, I mean, they're offering iTunes Radio for free right now. You have any idea about how they want to turn this into revenue?
So I have had no direct conversations with them, but I have used the product along with X number of dozens of millions of other people in the U.S. in the first couple of months.
It's crazy.
And there's advertising on it. So I don't see this as being a straight up subscription basis. It could have a freemium model perhaps downstream, but right now it's free and it is being supported through advertising. And if you really connect some of the dots between what an Apple would know about you as a user of iTunes Radio based on things like your iTunes library and other data sets that Apple would have on you, they could give you highly tailored advertising that would be very appropriate and it would probably be very palatable for most people, as opposed to a spray and pray kind of attempt that other folks make. So I think advertising will be a big part of the equation for them. Just my guess. I have no direct knowledge of this, but I think, that with that audience size, with the Apple panache and brand, there'll be a lot of advertisers that'll want to do business with them.
So how important is digital? How important are these devices? How important is what iTunes are doing? How important is RDO moving into the radio stations as well that are free? Songs, how important, and of course Pandora, but how important are these guys? Like, is this real? Or is this just like, a tulip arms race for music, the equivalent?
Very astute reference. I like that. I think that this is unquestionably real. And I'll tell you, there's some fairly concrete proof points to this. So the ascension and rise of audio very closely mirrors the penetration and ascension and rise of mobile as an advertising platform. So the incredible rise of mobile has coincided in some ways with the decline of display. Unlike display and video to a large extent, the idea of audio is somewhat native or natural to a phone. People do a lot of listening with their ears with a phone, period, and an audio ad is an extension of that in certain ways. So it is highly relevant to the form factor that you have in terms of the mobile. The thing that makes the audio advertising unit robust and increasingly popular is that it is one of the precious few things, as you would know from your experience just walking on the earth here, that it is one of the only spotlight advertising channels still in existence. And by that, I mean only one audio ad ever plays at a time. You don't get this cacophony of sound that you get a cacophony of sight where things are flashing and beeping and pop-ups and all these things that you're just trying to, avoid and not be caught up in the web of. And advertising of audio is just one audio unit at a time. And it's usually a 15-second unit in a digital context. And it's oftentimes very targeted to you based on some behavioral stuff that the advertiser might know about you. And it's no big deal. It's a very, very fair quid pro quo for largely free or very inexpensive audio content. And most people will make that trade all day long.